me what happened in Partition. How old were you? What happened? He was telling me about that. But I was prompting him.
But would you want him to emphasize?
What is the purpose of this class?
Or this film. Or this film.
Number one is Sindhi language.
Language.
Number one, language.
Okay. What else?
Number two is culture, heritage.
Okay.
And number four is experiences.
Okay.
And that, but they all, I think the importance of why we should maintain the language is because it goes back into what you have gone through. A lot of us are not maintaining those ties because we don't know the struggles that preceded.
You see, why I'm asking this, the question asked by Sunita was, what is Hindi? One thing I tell you, I'm not an expert on anything. I cannot define what is Hindi because I have not studied Sindhi culture in that way, in a formal way.
Yeah.
What is my personal knowledge is just my personal experience going through life from the time I was born up to the partition and afterwards.
Yeah.
See, in that way, if you ask me a serious question, what is Sindhi, I cannot answer you. See, because I know I'm Sindhi, I'm proud to be Sindhi.
Yeah. But it's an experience, and it's an experience, really.
That's why.
Yeah.
So
The film, what's the film emphasizing? What have you done so
yeah,
far?
maybe that's another thing I'll
No,
ask.
you know, we want to document all the elder stories and then compile it into one maybe big documentary eventually. That's the
And the
eventual.
purpose of the documentary is?
Is really the struggles of partition. Our generation doesn't even know about it.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to my nephew.
So more of informative.
Informative. I talked to my nephew and he's 11, 12, 13 years old. They have no clue.
Not study or analyze or make opinions.
Not to make opinion. More for a document.
What you are interested in presenting as the things were
Exactly.
by people like us.
Exactly.
Oh, by elders.
No, people like us. No.
Yeah, people like us.
Why you have to show? What joking?
By elders.
You don't have to emphasize.
Elders?
Youngsters. He's a
Yeah, by
youngster.
young and not elders.
The way I saw him dance on Saturday?
I know.
Come on. By the way, Sunita turned 50 on, had a big 50th birthday party.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Which is the reason why we came here.
Yeah,
We
we
said
said-
that we're here on vacation.
And how many students you have?
We have like 30 people signed up. So depending on the
30
week,
people signed up regularly or for today?
we don't know how many will turn up.
No, but usually this is
Average-
every day class or once a week or what?
Once a week.
Once a week.
Yeah.
And every day is on
On a Wednesday night, yeah.
Good chit chat also. And he's the director of the.
Yeah, he's a
Sure,
documentarian.
sure.
So after we compile everything, we'll add all
Okay,
that.
what do you want to be? What you are doing now? What is your purpose in what you want to put in that camera and show?
Pieces of the puzzle.
Please.
Pieces of the puzzle.
Pieces of the puzzle.
Puzzle.
Mm.
What puzzle are we talking about?
In this context, the Sindhi diaspora and how it maintains itself around the world, starting from the seed of partition.
Is it a puzzle?
To me, it is.
No.
From the
The
outside.
reason I'm asking, so I can guide you accordingly. And as I said, I'm not an expert. I cannot solve the puzzle, but I can put you in the right direction where there are some people who have made an institute of being Sindhi and reviving Sindhi language and culture as a whole. And those people are more expert. What I'm talking about, that I am setting up a direction to show you as a personal experience what I went through partition and what I know about being Sindhi. See?
That to me is a puzzle piece.
You see, but what you are looking for, which is a bigger scale and which is very necessary, we can help you in that direction to go to those people who are really an expert and who will analyze and give you a proper scientific answer to what you are seeking for. See?
Cool.
Then your documentary might be admitted an Academy Award.
Indeed.
Imagine.
But there are so many people with different experiences,
Yes, that's what I said.
and each one is so unique that it's. I don't think people realize the degree of the uniqueness that everyone has in the Sindhi diaspora.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That experience I have, but to be, as you said, the puzzle is not hard to solve because people are there in New York even,
You're
who
right.
will tell you, or wherever you can find them, they will tell you the answer to that puzzle.
Yeah.
Then it
See,
will
like
be-
today, you're a piece of the puzzle.
Yes.
From the diaspora for going into the Philippines, but here in New York we don't get to hear those
Yeah.
stories.
And to capture the legacy from the elders,
Exactly.
while they're with us, so we can gather those stories,
Yeah.
which are only in the telling.
There's also this underlying idea of having an archive of those stories, right? They
Yeah.
did this with World War I and World War II survivors. They even did this with some of the later slave survivors that survived emancipation. They started to make a record just to have it on record. Each story was personal, but the whole thing adds up to this, great tomb. So.
Pops, you want to sit here?
In the middle.
Like
No,
right
I
here?
will stand.
No, you sit
Sit
down.
right here.
No, I'll stand first. Then if I feel like sitting, I'll sit.
We'll just put the chair there.
Okay, I don't think you should sit stand. That's up to you.
There are only 5 people, you can not sitting down, normal conversation.
Yeah.
And then that,
I think you should sit.
Yes, dear.
This is the only bossy one in the family.
You want to practice on me also?
We got the show on the road.
Sure. Tear it up.
Good evening, everybody. We are here today to welcome the Mukhi family. Dr. Sunita Mukhi, Sujata Mukhi, and Uncle Sunder Mukhi. And the uncles come from Manila, Philippines, on a special visit to visit his family. And while he's here in town, we asked him to actually share his partition experiences, as well his journeys, how he got to Manila, and what the community is like over there, and also to talk about his experiences. So I'm going to introduce you to our uncle, Sunder Mukhi, and then he'll begin from there.
I have a little standing problem for a while. That's why I did not want to sit down. I wanted to stand. For a while, huh? I'll stand, huh? Namaskar ji. I'll ask one question from all of you. Just tell me if you understand Sindhi. Raise your hands, please. Understand?
Little bit.
How many of you can speak Sindhi? It's okay. Don't feel shy. Don't feel shy. Because my experience nowadays with the modern generation of us Sindhis, some of them can understand Sindhi, but speaking, reading and writing is not there so much. And this I will blame only persons like me. Why? Because I as a parent did not take effort that my children will learn Sindhi. Though we used to try before, then became lazy and did not do. And this is a sort of a thing spreading throughout the world, wherever the Sindhi elders like me are there. Either they are too busy doing nothing, or they are too busy gossiping, or they are too busy, period, to teach their children the language, because they themselves don't realize that it is important to do it. I'm 78 years old now. My children are completely grown up. But those people who are born little later part of the world time, who are say around 30, 40, 50 years old, who have a knowledge of Sindhi, but still they don't want to teach their children. So, in a true sense, Sindhi language is dying language because parents are not serious about it. I was not serious about it, and I regret that. But now there's a movement going on throughout the world from our community of those who left Sindh province and settled throughout the world, including India, and they have realized that why should we leave our heritage and let it die? So there are movements going on to revive Sindhi, and one of the movements is like this class. Sindh became part of Pakistan as a whole when the partition was there, because Pakistan was created according to the population of Hindu and Muslims. Punjab, they said they divided because they were, I wouldn't say 50-50, but in such a way that it has to be divided between Hindus and Muslims. So was Bangladesh. Now, Bangladesh was originally Pakistan. East Pakistan, West Pakistan, somehow Britishers decided to have, because it is by population, because Bangladesh is heavy Muslim population, so is Sindh, Punjab, and Balochistan, Quetta, and all that part. But time came that this Bangladesh people are very proud people, whether they are Hindu or Muslim. They don't want lightly. Their language, their way of living, to them, whether they are Hindu or Muslim. But they are Bengalis. When Pakistan came, Pakistan decided to have, number one, national language has to be Urdu. Number two, the government has to be purely on religion basis. So Bengali says, what? This is not what we wanted. We wanted freedom, but we did not want to change our culture, Bengali. Why should we speak any other language except Bengali? And why should we follow religion? We want to be Muslim the way we are Hindus the way we are. But by that time, Bangladesh was decided, East Pakistan was decided, all divided Hindu population, Muslim population. But this Muslim population rebelled against West Pakistan. Number one, West Pakistan are not Bengalis. They are Muslims, but not Bengalis. Why should we listen to them? So they rebelled, and of course, historically speaking, India helped them to separate from West Pakistan, and they established Bangladesh. Purely on the base of heritage and language, not religion. Religion, it was decided already. Punjabis, same thing happened. But Punjab was decided already. But the language of Punjabi is also very strong, and they did not rebel so much against the Urdu because Punjabi also was, as a second language, national language, they accepted. But Sindh, though 100% went to Pakistan, but the government of Pakistan refused to recognize Sindh as an individual, Sindhis as an individual. Sindh was never recognized in Pakistan as a part of language of Muslims there. Urdu was imposed. The education was completely changed to Urdu. Religion, they did not mind it because they were Muslim. So the problem started there. Because the Sindhi was not taught in the schools anymore in Sindh, Sindhi started also deteriorating in Sindh itself, where the birthplace of the Sindhi was. And others who migrated like me to Bombay, eventually I settled in Manila because my brothers were there for economic reason. Also, we did not follow Sindhi because there were no Sindhi schools or anything. Bombay decided, because there were many Sindhis there, and Pune and other places, to put up Sindhi schools. But the Sindhi school, by the regulation of the government of India, Hindi was compulsory. But India also recognized other languages in there, like Punjabi, Gujarati, Marathi, Bengali, yeah, all those languages, even South, they recognize that as a part of national language. That means they had an equal right as Hindi, not like in Pakistan, only Urdu. So all these languages, they thrived. Punjabi also thrived because Punjab, the language, was recognized by the Indian government. Sindhi was not. Why? No part of Sindh was part of India. See, Sindh remained India. But nothing about, so Sindhi started dying there also. But now, revival has come that even in Pakistan, those people who have grown up in their own language, because though the language is not recognized by the government, but they still speak Sindhi, and they are rebelling it. They are asking the government to recognize Sindhi as a part of national language, and they want to create a Sindhi, this one. I think in Washington recently, I think Sunita attended, no?
Yes.
There was a Sindhi,
World Sindhi Institute.
what year was that?
World Sindhi Institute.
Organized by Pakistani Sindhis. I say Pakistani because it originated there. And there are other also organizations from the side of India which they are trying to revive Sindhi. Now the question is, you ask, why? What is Sindhi? I cannot answer that question because I'm not an expert, but I know that I was born at that time known as British India, and when I grew up, my mother saw to it that I will read and write Sindhi. Because in Sindh, Hyderabad, Sindh, and throughout Sindh, Karachi and everywhere, there were universities devoted teaching all in Sindhi. And all which has been established now, officially recognized by the world, what do they call, recognize the old, there's a name for that, that Mohenjo-daro, which was found, the language is older than Sanskrit, written, believe it or not, in Sindhi. Way of writing is Sindhi. So Sindhi has a heritage, a very heritage such as that which should not die. Why it should not die? What is about it Sindhi that it should not die? Among you, who knows how many letters are in Sindhi? Alphabetical letters, how many are there? Can anybody answer me?
52.
You don't know?
52.
Yeah, that's right. You answer, no, that's right. If you have to know first that. Because if you do not know how many letters are in Sindhi, then you cannot learn Sindhi. It will be useless. No alphabet in the world, including Sanskrit and everything, has 52 letters. And when you come to know all these 52 letters, each and every letter has a sound, pronunciation, and vibration. If you master those 52 letters, no language on earth you cannot speak in pronunciation according to the original, including Sanskrit, Russian, French, any language, English, any hard language. You can talk and speak properly as a native because we have 52 ways of pronouncing. You know, in one letter like R, how many R's we have? R, Ra, Ri. How many R's we have in any other language? One only. How many D's we have? Da. Each written separately. How many T's we have? Ta, tha. Each written separately. So when you see it, ta with 2 nuktas, you say ta. 4 nukta, you say tha. Other one, ta. Your tongue will teach you. So if there any language, the word is pronounced like Spanish, ne, in Sindhi you can pronounce this. You know, the Spanish they put on say ne. In Sindhi you can pronounce those. So now you can say, why lose such a privilege of knowing a language which is thousands of years old? Shah Latif is a Sindhi poet. He has written, you talk about Tagore or any poet, Shah Latif has written such a beautiful Sindhi. Only the problem is that his Sindhi is very heavy. So when you read the Shah Latif's poetry, you have to really pay attention how to pronounce it and how to say. But once you know the word, you can do it. And it is a beautiful writing. See, that is our heritage. We are people like that who have written Sindhi. Why should I learn Sindhi? What use is to me? How many languages you can speak? I'm just any languages. How many? I'm pointing to you. How many? No, just tell me how many. Don't feel shy. If you don't know, it's okay also. How many?
I speak English and Spanish fluently. Then
You know Spanish?
Yeah.
English?
Then a little bit of Hindi
Hindi?
and very little Sindhi.
Okay. What if you come to know Sindhi? It's a fifth language you learn. What's wrong in learning fifth languages? With 52 letters, you can easily learn and pronounce. And with that will help you to learn Russian, Germany, or even French because of the way they write, the way you pronounce. With your knowledge of the 52 letters of Sindhi language, you can do it. That's an additional to you. Never mind, you don't have to speak, but you have a knowledge. You can say, I am a linguist, I have 5 languages. Why not? Why not take it that? And can you imagine, now, because we are so small, we don't know so much, so many does not know Sindhi, you are speaking a language which among yourself, if you are in a place where nobody knows Sindhi, you can conduct all the private talks you want to. Do you know, up to now, in Japan, they don't want to learn any other language. Why? How progressive, I think Japan is the 3rd economy, if I'm not mistaken. They don't know how to speak any other language except Japanese. And how did they reach to that through that language? Communicating with people who do not know anything about Japanese and making billions of money and having problems also, but that's another thing. Why? Koreans, do they speak? You go to Korea, you don't know how to get along because they don't know any other language. But still, look at the Korea. Well, China now is trying to be world country, also trying to teach their people English. And India, by itself, knowing English, has established themselves in the world power. So, Why can we not learn our own language, where we originally came from? Of course, we don't stay there because we are considered as, I wouldn't say gypsy is a very strong word, but vagabonds. Do we have a country?
Stronger than gypsy bobs.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry. Can you, if somebody asks you what is your hometown, what will you say?
St. Thomas.
Manila. Port Jefferson.
So, my reason, as it was asked to come, to give you that. Now, I'll not go further too much details in learning Sindhi because I'm sure that the fact that you are here to learn Sindhi, your intentions are to learn Sindhi. My only advice will be you keep it up. Even if you find it hard little, don't give up. Because you are doing a favor to many people whom you will go and teach them, and when you grow up, you have your own children, you can teach them also. So, I'll shift to the thing, what happened to me during Pakistan. Not talking about religion or anything, what we went through, the partition of India, world has recognized, but they are not talking. Up to now, nowhere in the world, whether it was Russian time, World War II, North Vietnam, South Vietnam, where the population shifted from one place to another place, it has never happened what happened to us. Millions and millions of people were killed just because of their own beliefs. Much more people went from one country to other country. We'll not discuss why, but they did it. My father, my grandfather, my great-great-grandfather was born in Hyderabad, Sindh. I don't know any other country, but because Sindhis are traveling people, we had business in Japan, we had business in Gibraltar, and we have traveled. When I was 5 years old, I went to Japan and stayed there so many years and came back to Hyderabad, Sindh, somewhere in 1939-40. Now, can you imagine, I'm living in that country, born there. I'm 15 years old now. I'm asked to leave that country and go to the strange country of Bombay because my nananas were there. You know what's nanana? Parents from the mother side. That's Sindhi also. That's nanana. They had business there before the partition, long before, and they were one of the Sindhis who went there, settled, but they were still Sindhis. Every vacation during school closing, they used to come in Hyderabad and we used to have a feast. Nana Ayan, gift to Hani Ayan, he kar, this kar, that kar. It was really something. So, here I have grown up as a child, running on the street, playing games, doing whatever nonsense as a child one does. And I'm asked to leave that country and go in a strange country. What psychological effect will I have? We have no choice. Not that actually we were forced to leave by our neighbors who were, 80% of our neighbors were Muslims, Sindhi Muslims. When they came to know, because my mother was very close to all of them, she was very friendly. To her, it does not matter religion. As far as you are good to me, I am good to you. Finish. When they came to know that we are leaving, they made a delegation of 10 women. I was at 15 years old that, and listening to them what they are saying in Sindhi. Why are you leaving us? My mother said, we have no choice because we are not Muslims. So what if you are not Muslim? Have I done anything to you? Because all of them were Muslims. No, you have not done. You have been so nice. You are making us orphans by leaving the country. Why? Because those people who are coming here, they are not Sindhis. They are coming from other countries like India. And how we can live with them? Because they are strangers to us. They are foreigners to us. You are not foreigner. We have grown up with you. They cried in front of my mother, don't leave. But we had no choice. And the way we left then, we came to Bombay and we saw what was going on the streets while passing in a train, which was a 24-hour journey. What Hindus were doing to Muslims, Muslims were doing to Hindu. I think religion should be banned. That's my personal opinion. If you are killing just because, I will say the word, you are not circumcised because Hindus are not, or you are killing because you are circumcised. Religion had nothing got to do. But because that was part of the religion, Muslims have to be circumcised, Hindus don't. What kind of humans are we? That because of the religion, making that excuse just to kill each other. You don't know even the person you are killing. And this happened both sides. I'm sorry to say, both sides. It was too much. And that is the experience I have lived through. That's why my opinion regarding what is happening in this world, what is happening in Afghanistan, Iraq, or even Ireland, where Catholics are killing Protestants because of that, then I say, yes, religion should be banned. You can quote me on that. So, what I'm trying to say now.
Pops, why don't you tell the story of when the delegation came, you got ready to leave. Tell us the story. Take us through the journey of how you left Hyderabad, Sindh, the train ride and everything.
August 15, 1947, midnight, Mountbatten came to Lahore and declared Pakistan because August 14, midnight was Pakistan. Then he flew back, or way back, there could be flight, I'm not sure. On August 15, in Red Fort, in front of, in Pakistan, it was Jinnah who accepted the Pakistan. And here it was Panditji, Jawaharlal Nehru, and Sardar Patel who accepted the independence of August 15. And the flag was lowered, and Indian flag was raised there, and Pakistani flag was raised there. Next day I woke up it's becoming just a thought of it, what now? Reports were coming in that the migration has taken place. Riots are going on throughout India, even after declaring Pakistan. Slaughter is going on everywhere. Everywhere where there are Muslims, they were asked to leave. Where there were Hindus, they were asked to leave. Why? Because Hindus, when I say from Punjab, on the side, where Hindus were on the Muslim side, they were asked to leave. If they were not leave, aristocracy was taking same place, same thing, Gujarat, Maharashtra, East Bengal. Slaughter was going on Muslims also. It was, I tell you,
it wasn't the government.
It was both sides.
It was the society that was moving there. It wasn't the government pushing.
What government? You are just declared independence.
Right, it was the society that was.
I cannot hear you what you
It was
say.
society that was making it happen, not the government.
No. This was feelings among themselves. Purely low organized thing was going on. That is the worst part. It was not organized by people, okay, let's do it. No. Just because you are not what you are, kill him. Both sides. I'm telling you, both sides. It was terrible. So, even though these ladies came to us and they said, our husbands will protect you, stay here. Yes, they will protect us. What happens later on if they come in some majority? just knowingly that a non-Muslim is living here. And I was only man around, my all brothers were abroad, my father was abroad, and I had my mother and two Masis to take care of it, and I had my sister who was elder than me to take care of it. At 15 years old, I got the responsibility to arrange to leave for Bombay. And that was the experience I went there. Every day I used to go to train station, which was 5 miles away, and I used to walk a lot at that time and see what was going on. And every day what I witnessed, that how these refugees considered leaving the country were bothered by the other people, maybe gondas or whatever you call it, taking away their things. Luckily, it did not happen in Sindh, in my opinion, where the women or the girls were molested, not to my knowledge, honestly speaking. But in Punjab, in Bombay, in every other place, things were not going on the way it should go on. We were lucky on that part, we were not bothered at all in that way. That I will give maybe because we were Sindhis, not because we were Muslims or Hindus. We were Sindhis. Don't bother Sindhi. See, this is what I'm talking about. We arrived in Bombay like a stranger, staying in shacks because they had arranged to get a house for us. We did not go any camp. Talking about camps, there the government of India established several camps throughout the country, including Bombay, Ajmer, Pune, Gujarat, everywhere where people went and settled. And what you see that what is happening in the camps now in Afghanistan, Iraq, because their fighting is going on, that is decent because America and others are trying to help. In India, nothing. But we Sindhis are very enterprising, all of them. Nobody went on the street to beg. I am proud to say that no Sindhi on the streets of Bombay to beg or Pune. They wanted to do, what do we do? What they did, open up a small store of food. Ladies making papads. You know papad, how popular they are. Going out and trying to find out some work. They came up by themselves, very little help of the government, and Sindhis have established, they rebuilt the whole Bombay. The whole face of Bombay was changed by the Sindhis, architects and businessmen. So is Pune, so is all other places where Sindhis have settled. You know, as far as the India is concerned, what these countries are, India has become, very big part of it is contributed by the Sindhi entrepreneurs, because they really did not want it to go and beg and chill. They traveled abroad, they established, like me, I went to my brother, I established. Since I landed there, for 60 years I've been in Manila. And I consider my hometown, Manila. But I will, even though I'm a Filipino citizen, this is only for convenience sake. But of course I feel for Filipinos because I have stayed 60 years, because they have taken very good care of me. And I will not leave them alone, but my attachment is still in India also. And on top of that, when this thing was asked, Sindhi, I jumped. Sindhi, anytime, I am Sindhi. If you people do not know what is Sindhi, better you know. And be proud of it. Because, as I said, Sindhi heritage, whatever your business is, whatever your parents were, they have a long history to go. Okay, let's not talk about past. Talk about present. What is Sindhi now, wherever they go? Everywhere in the world, big firms, establishment, buildings, big organization, hospitals, you name it, Sindhi is there. Anywhere in the world. Even Timbuktu, which is a desert, Sindhi is there. I know, because I came to know about him. No, very true. You know where is Timbuktu? Capital of Sahara Desert, where hardly people live. Maybe the population is only 10,000. Sindhi is there, doing business. You can imagine, how can you not be proud of that? Forget religion, forget everything else. We are the people who have that in our mind, not to beg. Of course, there are beggars also, you cannot help it. But they try to beg from their own families who are rich. That's a different thing. We are not talking about begging on the street. Allah, no, never. Never happened. And how many millions left Sindh and settled in whole India, throughout India, built up India, and throughout other countries, like we settled in Philippines, some settled in UK, some settled in America, like your parents, everywhere. Anywhere you go, you will find a Sindhi. As they say about Gujaratis also, I have heard. That's true. They are same way. But Gujarat had its own country. Their choice was to go there, in spite of having their own thing. We didn't have a choice. So our effort, whatever we have done, is through dedication of being a human being and try to make money. And of course, you can say that is our aim, to make money. But nowadays, money is important also. So there's nothing wrong in making money. And believe it or not, again I say with pride, anywhere in the world, UK, Philippines, Japan, any part of America, Canada, you will hardly find a Sindhi as a murderer, Sindhi as a hold-upper, Sindhi as a gangster who kill people. You will not find. There are exceptions. There are. Everybody. You name me. How many, if there are 1 million in jail, I'm just naming the figure, I don't know how many. Maybe you will find one Sindhi who cheated the income tax, not killed somebody. Maybe because of that. This is everywhere in the world, even India.
So one who got caught.
The one who got caught.
No, I've learned in Manila. How many commandments are there? 10. There's 11th commandment. Whatever you do, don't be caught. Sorry. That's Hindi. See,
Pops, why don't you tell us about the train ride?
it's not important.
It's very good.
No, it is just a journey I went through. What here we are talking, I'll tell you why. Sufferings has happened. That was 24 hours only. 24 hours. We were even held up in the train. My mother was robbed of the gold we bought, whatever little money we had. She was robbed. By whom? Our marriage.
Oh my God! No wonder you hate religion.
But he was caught
Okay.
eventually. But we never get our gold back. But what I'm trying to say, that our establishment, even if you feel, if you are not assimilated with the local population, by local population I mean non-Indians, non-Sindhis, I included Indians. Very rarely, unless there are some, like they call it Germans, which bald-headed Hitler's people.
And the Nazis.
Nazis.
Not
Skinheads.
Nazis. There are people
Skinheads.
The skinheads.
Skinheads.
They don't like any other because they are white people. Only because of that, not because you are Sindhi. See, so there are rare cases like that. Tell me, any of you have felt a discrimination among wherever you live if you come in contact with non-Sindhis? Unless you do something wrong, otherwise no. Because Sindhi will not pick up a fight. He will try to settle the matters. He doesn't want anything to happen because he is afraid of his own life. We are Giddis. We are not fighters. But never mind.
What's the word you use, Pop? What's that word?
Giddi
What's that?
means run away from challenge.
Chicken.
What to call
Coward?
Coward, yeah. Exact meaning. We are cowards. We are cowards because we are business people. So,
Papa,
Yes,
can you
go
tell
on.
us the difference between being a Sindhi Bhaiban and being a Sindhi Amal?
that's all. 1 minute.
Yes, I come from.
Can you speak a little louder,
Yeah,
please?
I come from Gujarat originally,
Yes.
India, Gujarat, and what I have noticed is because most of the Gujaratis are like vegetarians, you know, there is some sort of a discrimination against Sindhis in Gujarat because
Why?
you know, and you know, like they would not prefer to have a Sindhi in their society because they eat non-veg or because you know, like very older generation they use that typical oil which is very smelly. I don't know what that oil is, and you know, so they kind of do not like Sindhis to be, you know, in their society. And like I speak very fluent Gujarati, and you know, most of my friends were very surprised when they came to know I was a Sindhi. When they used to come to my home, and then when they came to know I was Sindhi, like, but your house does not smell. So that was the kind of impression they have. I don't know, but you know, that I found some sort of a discrimination, you know, not like very explicit, but a little bit.
You are 100% right. And I will not call it as a discrimination. Suppose you are in your own Sindh, there is no partition, and you are a meat eater. A Gujarati comes who is a vegetarian. How will you feel?
Same word.
No, I'm just giving you an example. Talking about smell, our Sindhi masalas are little heavy comparing. They are heavy. Others are more mirchi. Even in Manila, we have that kind of reaction from the owners who rent house, that when they come, they have some kind of smell. Two reasons. One, the food masala we cook. Second, the agarbattis. Don't forget. Many local people, if he is not an Indian, he cannot take the smell of agarbattis is strong.
Incense.
I'm giving you an example. Yes, there is a discrimination, but that discrimination is not personal. It is a feeling. And they will not invite meat-eating person, Gujaratis, because that they feel that's blasphemy and you are spoiling their house. That's why they don't want. Not because you are so and so. No, you are spoiling my house and my house is mandir and I don't want to spoil it. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that is in Gujarat because those are fundamental, die-hard or something. But have you felt that in America? Why?
That a Sindhi is being discriminated?
Yeah, I'm asking him. Have you felt it? No, it's not Sindhi. He being discriminating, inviting to the other house, whether it is Indian or non-Indian. Why? Because they like you, because you like them. It is you who create the atmosphere, whether you like them or not. Atmosphere which is negative, naturally, people don't want that kind. Yes.
I think on that note, I grew up in America. I was born in America, in Maryland. I think the reason of all Indians we might not be discriminated a lot also is because we're the most American of all Indians.
Most American?
We're the most American of all Indians. Like, for example, we barely speak the language. All my other Indian friends, if they're Gujarati or Punjabi, they speak the language.
That's okay.
So an American, they notice that because, you know, like I know still people eat with their hands, but I know when I was in college, I went to my Bengali's house, my friend Bengali, and they put fish and everything. Everyone started eating with their hands, with the rice and everything. You know, that was very unique to the South Indians. They do things a certain way. So I think the discrimination is also because, one, we don't look as Indian, whatever the reason that is, and then two, I think we lack the culture that other Indians have. You know,
No.
I mean the young generation.
You have your own culture.
Yeah, but
their culture might be different, but that does not mean that you lack. Never.
No. I'm saying.
I'm telling you, all of you, never feel that you are of less, if anything, than anybody else in the world. Never. I'll give you an example. I'll sit down now. No, I cannot stand also. This is a true example. Manila. My mother, Sunita's mother, my wife, was very good cook, making Indian food and everything. Very nicely liked and everything. When we had a Filipina maid who learned to cook also. My children's school was walking distance from our house. So they always used to come for lunch at home. But sometimes, because of the timing in the period or anything, they used to take lunch in the school, and during recess time, they will eat their lunch with their friends. Sunita Mukhi opens her, this one, and the girl sitting next to her, like that. Please take away, please take away. Sunita comes home crying. This is a fact, huh? Papa, I will not take any more lunch. What will you eat? What can I do? I cannot like this. So, do you like what your mama makes for you? Yes. Just take it. Next time when they say that, you tell them, try it. Try it. They don't like it's okay because something different. As Sunita's nature is, you will know, she did that. She purposely went in front of that girl, opened her this thing and started eating. So of course, the reaction was there. So she said, you try it. Little mahang means it is spicy and it is mirchi. So this girl tried it and she did not come. You know what she did? She invited the bunch of girls, come to the house and eat with me. And our house became an open house for these people to come and eat Indian food, right? Now, this is what I'm trying to say. If they have a complaint about the food, it's justified because that, do you know that in Philippines, we have majority of Punjabis than any other, Sindhis or other nationalities because of the expat and everything. And this Punjabis come from area which is, I'm sorry to say, from very low area to make money because they do lending money, which is very popular in Philippines. We call it 5-6. You give 5 pesos in the morning, collect 6 pesos. That's an interest. And these people are heavy eaters, vegetarian or non-vegetarian with masalas and everything. One thing I tell you, if there's any function in Philippines, and if it is Punjabi function and Punjabis are there, even I like to walk out. All of them smell that masalas they eat. That's the way it is. When they perspire, they are smelly. It is so. It is so. Now, you see, now I mentioned that Punjabis because as a rule, Sindhis don't eat so much heavy or masalas, but they do eat. And if there is smell there, all you have to do is little careful. If you are moving in a society which is not known to you, just use some essence or something, or eat this longer or something, your smell will go away. So now, I think I have talked enough, and I have covered practically all the subject, and my main talk here was Sindhi. We are Sindhis. We should see to it that this Sindhi will not evaporate in 10 or 5 or 6 generations, and it should not. Now, any of you, if you have any question you want to ask, either Sindhi language or anything, if I have an answer, I'll give it to you. Yes.
I may be
Little
wrong.
louder, please.
Yeah, I may be wrong, but I have a general perception that the murders happened on both sides, Muslims and
Yeah.
Hindus. But I don't know, I could be wrong, but the perception is that more Hindus were murdered, like Muslims were
More what?
More Hindus were murdered.
No,
So it was
that's a
equal-
misconception.
Okay, so it was,
Misconception. I'm a Hindu, I'm telling you. I'll tell you what happened in Gujarat. When they came back from there, 20 or 30 Hindus were burned in the train. What did Gujarat do? Tell me that. Can you live with that? What they slaughtered Muslims there, even their wives and children. I'm very ashamed of that, to be Hindu. Happened in Gujarat. Are you proud of it? Then how can you say? Both sides, this side or that side. Hindus are like that also. I don't know why, because of religion. What is happening in Afghanistan or Iraq now? Muslims are killing their own Muslims just because they belong to a different sect. Nonsense. Christians are killing Protestant just because, not Christian, Catholics are killing Protestant. What is this? Is this what the world we want to live in? No. Yes, we Sindhis can do something about it because we don't believe in that. As I said, in Sindh province, before partition, if there was something wrong happen to the Hindus, not even 100, I say with pride, Muslims did not kill even 100 Hindus in Pakistan, in Sindh. Gujarat, Punjab, Bangladesh, yes. Kashmir, yes. Sindh, no. Because Sindhis are very mild people. They don't want problem. They will go away. They are giddy, I said, from problem. They will. That's why they have survived. But we are not surviving in a language part of this because parents like us and people like you have paid little less attention to Sindhi. So if you are attending this class, I wish that more people will come to this class and more classes will like be this, that you can at least learn one of the language which is the most easy to learn, and as I said, 52 letters will make you linguist. What else you want? So be proud of being Sindhi. Never feel that if you don't want to talk, well, that's your choice, but don't feel Sindhi. No, don't do that. That's your heritage. You cannot do it. It's good to have a heritage. See, good to have. Yeah.
Can you explain to us who the...
Little louder, please.
Sindhis have been in Philippines for a long time.
Yes.
Like, to your knowledge, which were the first Sindhis, what year did the first Sindhis come?
Well, Sindhis were there way back in 1910-20s. Big farms were established. Sindhis. No other nationality. Means Gujaratis or Punjabis. No, only Sindhis were there.
Who were some of the first families to have come?
Well, I cannot give you exact names, but they were there even after the war, we call it, because we talk before the war and after the war.
But the Hemandas were...
No, Hemandas
was that old?
came much later on. They came after partition. They came after partition. My brother was during the war there, Thakur,
Auntie Leela's family also.
before the war.
Yeah.
Before the war. Many, that's what I said, there were many.
So her last name was Ramchandani, right?
Ramchand is not, they are Mirapuris.
Mirpur.
Ramchand is because we have custom that we name business and our name after our father, and we establish. And the other one which were there, this Vili Laram Genomas, they were before there. The Santanis were there before the war, long before. Number one in education, 96% Filipinos were educated in high school. They know how to read and write. And because of American, 75% knew how to speak English. Before that, Spanish came and Spanish introduced religion, Catholics. So 80% of the people in Manila are Catholics.
In the
Philippines, or Catholics. So when you have a religion and when you have education, you are little friendly, better. Would you know that 60 years of my stay in Philippines, which I have assimilated, my daughter-in-law is a Filipina also, assimilated with Filipinos, not only in business, but I'm very active in Rotary up to now. I'm very active of Chamber of Indian Commerce. I'm very active, in other words. I have never encountered anywhere any insult to us from Filipinos that you foreigners, what are you doing here? Which is happening many places in the world, not Sindhis, but as a foreigners. Because you wanted to know about Philippines, so I'm telling you what is the culture of the Philippines. Because of education, because of religion, they are very friendly. Even so much so, if I go anywhere, when I was in my younger age, if girl sees me and there's picture taking, she will come to me, sir, I want to take picture with you. But why me? You're so handsome. but the conversation, you are foreigner. Because my face cannot change. You are a foreigner. And they didn't mind taking picture with a foreigner. And so see, I took a picture with a foreigner. That kind of nation is that. That's why so we had no problem. All 3 children were born there. I got married in 1959, went back to Manila. My Sanita was born in South, as you heard, in 1960. And my another daughter and my son, Sujata Mukhi and Suresh Mukhi. Eventually, my Suresh Mukhi found a Filipina girl. And they came to me. They said, my only thing is, do you accept him as a non-Christian? She said, yes. If you accept him as a non-Christian, then I have no problem. How will your children grow up? Christians. Okay. This is what you want. It's mother's choice. Now, if I put my foot down and say no, my son will cry because he was very much in love. So, is it my pride or my son's thing? I said, yes. I have 2 beautiful grandchildren. Joy of my life. Of course, these girls are grown up, but they are small. So, this is what I'm talking, that when I say this because my culture is not Indian. I have stayed in India as a free country for 3 years only. So I'm not Indian. I did not know even Hindi. I learned Hindi in Manila because I wanted to learn. I could have said, why should I learn Hindi? Like you say, why should I learn Sindhi? I said, Hindi is a language. Why should I not learn? And I learned Hindi. Similarly, when that thing happened, when I'm staying in the Manila, when I'm feeling for my child to marry a Filipina, which is a big no-no with the community, it is my Sindhi heritage and culture said yes. Not Indian culture or Hindu culture or anything, no. Because she was not Christian. She was not Hindu. Why? Because I'm Sindhi. My Sindhi culture. This is what you should remember. Your Sindhi heritage. Even if you are born here as Americans, you have assimilated with Americans, nothing wrong. But don't you ever forget that your parents, grandparents, their parents were Sindhis. Be proud about it. Thank you very much.
Question.
Yeah, sure.
Have you been in contact?
Little louder, please.
Have you been in contact with anybody from your old neighbors in Sindh? Or have you heard how
No.
has Sindh changed since
What
you
you are
left?
talking about?
Sin.
In Sindh?
Pakistan, yeah.
Yeah.
Lot of contacts. My sister, after 15 years or 20 years, went to India. I went to Pakistan, Hyderabad, Sindh, where I was born. They said that Hyderabad, the names are still our names. Tilakcharis, Samtani Paro, they have not changed that. Even our house, which had a name there, Atmaram Tekchand building, is still there. There was a Iranian restaurant opposite that, still there. The training college I am talking about, still there. But nothing is recognizable. They have not maintained the city as it used to be. Dirty, people are sitting on the floor because of the population, selling items, little afraid to go alone there that way. In that way, I have heard Karachi also has deteriorated a lot because of their problem going on. The only place which has come up nicely, they say, is these new cities like Lahore is very good, Rawalpindi is very good, and
Islamabad.
what is?
Islamabad?
Islamabad.
Huh?
Islamabad.
Islamabad is complete. Those are modern cities, very nice. I cannot say much about other things because I have no personal experience. But those who have come back from there have talked about it. Yes.
Can you, I think you had almost asked about it, but tell the
Little loud.
difference between Amils, Baibans, Hyderabadis,
Shikarpuris, the different kinds of Sindhis, Amil,
Narkai.
Baiban.
Okay, I'll talk first about Hyderabad Sindh. Hyderabad Sindh were two types of Sindhis, Amils and Baibans. Baibans were totally business type, traveling abroad, coming home every 2 or 3 years and making baby and going back. So all the children at that time had a 2 or 3 years difference in age. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Explain, Pops, explain. I'm joking.
I know you are not joking. So, we are seafarers, in other words, though we did not have a port, Karachi had a port. I'm talking about Hyderabad because I know more. And Amils were the proud, educated people whom government will seek and employ them and make them run the country, city, because they were entrepreneurs, educated. So there was always a distinction between Baiban and Amil, which maybe not so much now, but still there is. Baiban woman will go to wedding, will wear sari, all the jewelries and everything, and try to look better than the other. Amil woman will wear a simple sari, little makeup, and go with a grace, with her head up. I am educated, you are not. So what if you have saris or this thing? Something like that.
But Bible woman will say, but I have diamonds, you don't. You may have education, but I have diamonds.
What is diamond? You don't compare that way. I'm just saying the
educated.
difference. When you are, okay, now you take out Shikarpuris. Shikarpuri by itself is a very proud Sindhi because they had very modern cities there, very modern education. And there were no Baibans or Amils there. They were all Shikarpuris. It is only Karachi which has a distinction because of the business, because of being city, and Hyderabad Sindh. No other place in India, in Sindh, had that distinction of being between Sindhi, two different things. But the language was little different because Shikarpuri's way of pronouncing was more poetic, more this thing. And when they speak to you as they are singing a song to you. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. But Sindhi, especially Baiban, very crude in talking. Amil, little refined talking because education. So that's how the
The
difference was.
distinction happened because of the location.
Yes, purely because of location.
So where they were born.
Yeah, that's the way they were brought up. Because you see, I'll tell you, when you, because of they were born, I'll tell my story. My great parents came from Kutch, which is Gujarat. There are many Sindhis in Kutch. They speak type of a Sindhi, which is little Kutchi. They came to Hyderabad and they were educated. But somehow they landed. India was ruled by Muslim, what they call Meera. If anybody knows, this is a history of India. India was ruled by Meeras, Hyderabad, Sindh especially. And this Meera was controlling everything. Now, these Meeras were very interested in being democratic, secular state. So when these brothers went, somehow they were appointed as head of Sindhis. Mukhi. Mukhi means chief. So two brothers, Sagrani and Nagrani, were appointed as Mukhis of Sindhi community in Hyderabad, Sindh. So eventually when you grew up everything, then Amil started saying, why should we listen to Mukhis? Sagar and Nagar were the one. These are only children. Why should they inherit the same thing? But so one of the brother quit. I will not call myself Mukhi. I'll call myself Nagrani, which I am. Sagrani, stick to it. So, make my great-great-grandfather, any occasion which happens in the Bible community, business community, he was asked to attend, must attend. Any body passes away, he has to attend. He has to do all those duties because he is a Mukhi. So my father used to do that also when he was there before the partition. And I used to go with him. And I remember very clearly, there's a system when you want to give condolence to some family, there's a Maharaj who will stand with a lankur, like you see in movies, RAI. So my father will come, he may say, Mukhi Sahib, aayo hai, sabuthi kharatina. Everybody will get up because Mukhi has entered. But he was Mukhi in family name, but that honor was carried on. Of course now, they still call me in Manila Mukhi, and I have practiced that Mukhi in a different way by really being active in the community, not because I'm Mukhi because of surname, because I have established my way in that way, like my great fathers used to do. So they still call me, oh, Mukhi ke phone karis, puchis, cha karan khape. They do that now in Manila. Because Mukhi will pick up the phone and ask what it is and give them advice. But we don't agree. That's up to you. I am giving you advice. You agree or not? That's up to you. Because I think I am very ethical, I am very committed, what is right or wrong. I will say, you don't like my opinion? God bless you. I will not say anything. Yeah.
This is specific to Shikar.
Louder, please.
This is specific to Shikarpuris, but I was wondering if it's true that Shikarpuris didn't settle all over the world like the other Sindhis did.
No, but now yes. Would you believe in Bombay, Shikarpuris are the richest people?
That I know.
No, I'm telling you, I know because I said I know. Somehow they have that knack. All of a sudden, you see a name which I'm not familiar, but they say that he's Sindhi. But Sindhi is usually Nagrani, Sagrani, Bagrani, like that. But why is it? Because he's Shikarpuri. And that's really true. Another popular place which I forgot to mention is Larkana. Larkana was very good. The third one was Tando Jam. Now, Tando Jam used to be some like a religious place where people used to go. Who knows Lal Sain? Lal Sain. He comes from Tando Jam. See, Lal Sain, and that was a more of religious place. Now those names are coming into my mind, which are the other one. Yes.
I also heard of other types, Sahiti, Sakhar, Sahiti, Sakhar and Larkana. Can you tell a little bit about
I don't have much knowledge of that.
About Larkana?
Because I was very young at that time.
Okay.
I was 15 years old. But as a general knowledge, I know that these people are there. And as a Shikarpuri, I've heard the continuation in Bombay and this thing. But Larkana, yes. And which is the other one?
Sahiti.
Sahiti is a place which is, I think, very agriculture, if I'm not mistaken. All the agriculture products used to come from there. And they were ruled by what is happening in India by the landlords. And which is the other place? Sakhar, very popular place. Very educated, very construction wise and everything. Yes, very good popular place. I think, what is the time now?
9.
Oh.
Wow.
It's off now.